Hello, good afternoon, Mr. President.
Hello.
First of all, I want to thank you very much for taking time out of your demanding schedule.
My pleasure. The content and request seemed like something I should carve out a few minutes for.
I appreciate that, sir. Now, in researching your position regarding the events of 9/11 and the investigation that followed, am I correct in understanding that you fully support and endorse the findings of the 9/11 Commission report, otherwise known as the official story?
Do I have any reason not to? And given that most of us are presumably in touch with similar evidence.
I really wish that were the case.
We win our war. We win by the Federal Reserve. We went to HY. We went to Building 7. And we let everybody know that we were never going to go away.
Questions, Mr. President. Questions.
Why hasn't Osama bin Laden been indicted?
If you go to Osama bin Laden's webpage on the FBI Most Wanted Terrorist list, you find that he's been indicted for the 1998 attacks, but not for 9/11. And in fact, a number of journalists called up the FBI and said, well, look, why have you not connected bin Laden to 9/11? And they said, well, I'm afraid we just don't have the evidence.
I'll tell you some shit. You got a cigarette?
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. That was Belle Edmonds. You ever hear about her?
I heard her name.
FBI translator. Okay? From the gag order in 2009. So Osama bin Laden, Taliban, and Al Qaeda were working with the CIA until 2001. Believe that? I got some questions.
Belle Edmonds is the founder and director of National Security Whistleblowers Coalition. She worked as a language specialist for the FBI following 9/11. During her work with the Bureau, she discovered and reported serious acts of security breaches, cover-ups, and intentional blocking of intelligence that had national security implications.
We did carry very intimate relationship with these people, and it involved Central Asia and all the way up to September 11.
The tower was coming down. Somebody told him. He said so himself. And then he denies it. Denies it all over the TV. All over the bloody telly. I saw it myself.
We set up headquarters at 75 Barclay Street, which was right there with the police commissioner, the fire commissioner, the head of emergency management. And we were operating out of there when we were told that the World Trade Center was going to collapse.
Who told you the towers were going to collapse in advance, sir? And also we'd like to know who else you told.
Well, the fact is that
I didn't realize the towers would collapse. I never realized that.
We were told that the World Trade Center was going to collapse.
Ma'am, I didn't know that the towers were going to collapse.
We were told that the World Trade Center was going to collapse.
I didn't realize the towers would collapse. I never realized that.
And then late afternoon, 5 p.m., still another building collapses. 7 World Trade Center.
That's 47 stories tall. There you can see it going. So this happened, some 6 hours or so after the collapse of the World Trade Center.
I don't know whether it was accomplished by demolition experts or whether it just happened as a consequence of what occurred earlier today.
Building 7 ablaze at the moment and apparently getting ready to collapse.
It was an abrupt, total, and complete collapse at the speed of free fall.
Flights on the morning of 9/11, and that mayor, what was that mayor's name? Willie Brown. Yeah, Willie Brown, San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown. What's up with that? What are they canceling the flights for?
The San Francisco Chronicle didn't have in there that I would see in the early morning. You still have it on the website? No, they do not.
To go along kind of with that question, I have the article in my hand. And if I can just read it off real quick, if that's all right. For Mayor Willie Brown, the first signs that something was amiss came late Monday when he got a call from what he described as his airport security a full 8 hours before yesterday's string of terrorist attacks, advising him that Americans should be cautious about their air travel. Several victims' family members were interviewed on MSNBC. And they had brought up that you might have received an early warning. But even if it's reported that it was 8 hours in advance?
They're wrong. Why do you argue with me about the 911 report? What the hell do you want? I told you, read the damn report.
What about on Pacifica Radio if they reported that you got a warning from Condoleezza Rice directly? I don't even know Miss Rice and they have no shit.
What about the 3 F-16s? What are you talking about? Andrews Air Force Base? Training exercise? Oh, you're talking about 9/11? Yeah, they were in North Carolina or whatever. Yeah, apparently they could have been there like a half hour before Flight 77 happened. Yeah, yep, I heard that. If you believe all that. Flight 77. You know, we're always training and doing these exercises, but when does exercise turn into execution? Yeah, I agree. What are you training for? Who makes that call? Who decides it's not important?
Hundreds of eyewitnesses, including first responders, fire captains, news reporters, and police, all described multiple explosions in both towers before and during the collapse.
Boom! An explosion so hard that pushes upwards in the air.
Do you see the rapid sequence of explosive ejections of material? Some of the jets have been clocked at over 100 miles per hour. I will call them explosions because it's hard to find other words that describe what we are seeing here. The explosions are not isolated and few. They are continuous and widespread.
We made it outside, we made it about a block.
We made it at least 2 blocks, and we started running. Floor by floor, instead of popping out.
It was if they had detonated.
Detonated.
They were planned to take down a building. Boom, 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 boom.
All the way down. I was watching it and running.
Yeah, here's one of the guys, you can tell you I'm okay, all right? Here, hold on. You want to call your mother or something? You gotta get back something. You know that. You gotta get back. All right? Don't worry about me. You need to make calls right now. All right.
So the 4-1 should have taken a couple of companies that they were leaving back to us that were stuck in the tunnel. So that's, they must be busy doing it.
Oh, gas another. Hours after the attack, many smaller explosions rumbled through downtown.